This is the Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Ken Boucher and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, Doc, great to be here.
Hey, what's up?
I might be a little behind the curve, but I finally got out to see uh was it? I guess it's Deadpool 3 or 4. Can't even keep track at this point. The one with
It's,
Wolverine,
it's
the new
three.
one.
It's the third one.
3. Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes more sense. That was good. It was almost as good as that last Spider-Man one. I liked it.
Yeah,
Maybe
it was super good movie.
maybe it's the Metamucil and me talking, but um I
Finally got out of the.
definitely,
You also got out of the bathroom. Finally, I heard you at the top of the show. You had a bathroom incident.
bro, she got wild.
Code gluten.
Cold something. I don't even know anymore. I just gotta roll with it sometimes, you know?
You said you're taking Metamucil. That's pooping.
No, that's just a joke for being old.
Oh yeah, you're old.
I I mean, prove
I mean, I technically cannot.
it. True. I got there's a little open air like a food truck
Your bathroom.
rodeo. No. There's a It's like an open air food truck rodeo thing right up the street from here.
Oh,
It's just a hot
and
a
they were
hot
like,
spot in
"Yeah, we
town.
got gluten free, Doug," and you're like, "Oh, I totally trust you."
Oh man, no, I never trusted nobody. I will go out of my way to get some food I trust. But sometimes mistakes happen. Sometimes, like for instance, did you know that restaurants, I know this is crazy, restaurants will flour their meat. They'll put it in flour even though meat is essentially gluten free, they will put it in flour and then put it in the pan so it's more succulent, so it keeps more fluid and stuff. And obviously that's a problem for somebody like me if you don't
Not
mention
gluten
it.
free.
Not gluten free,
Well,
even just a little bit.
isn't it like marked on the menu most of the time which dishes are actually gluten free?
Not in
Well,
North
yeah, but
Carolina, dude.
yeah, it's hit or miss.
They don't believe in
It's
the
hit or
gluten. They don't believe in the celiacs out there.
I
it's
mean,
you have to ask a lot of questions. And then you're that guy. And I was just like,
That's why you go to Mexican restaurants and get corn tortillas.
yeah, I mean,
That's
see
why you're.
I
tacos
gotta
all the
tell you,
time, Rob. Like, what could be better than that?
That's
a
why
lot of
he's
the
addicted to tacos.
many of the Spanish restaurant, and here's the thing they almost got me with too. I went to a Mexican at this place, a Mexican food truck, and um no, what was it? It was they said the bread. I was like, they put lard on the oh, that wasn't for me, but I didn't realize that they put obviously I couldn't have the bread, but they put lard on the bread. And I
How
was
is that
like,
gluten?
wait, what? I mean, obviously I couldn't have the bread regardless, but
Could have
that was
had it
something
if it
I
was
didn't
just a
know.
Okay,
lot.
all right. You're just saying this like as a surprising thing, or that
Yeah.
lard somehow has gluten in it? Because I'm
No,
confused
no,
on.
no. Lard does
Okay.
not have gluten in it. But like if you don't know, this is like the other side of the thing, like you just automatically assume you can eat bread, but if maybe you don't eat meat, some of these places put lard on.
Oh, you're saying that, like it's an animal product. They may not tell you that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
So
I mean, vegans aren't real people, so it doesn't matter.
well, yeah, some people are. But you just got to be careful. It's just got to, especially nowadays, you just got to be careful what you're eating. Anyways, so
I
the
mean, I've never met a vegan, so I don't think they exist.
Yeah, it's all
they
fake.
probably don't. It's probably fiction. Um,
Like I would, I don't mean like I don't think that they're not like real people. I think they're not. I think they're fiction. I don't think they exist.
Yeah, like
I,
birds. You
Like,
get it.
show me a vegan, and I'm like, that guy's lying.
birds
Yeah,
aren't
dude.
real. Birds with a
Vegans
V.
are just androids created by the CIA to spy on you, just like birds. We've discovered the secret.
uh, well, anyways, you just got to be sure what you're eating because sometimes it gets wild out there, especially these days. But
See, like
no,
I know vegetarians exist. Like I know that. Like that. Like
mhm.
yeah. like vegans, androids. I believe you. I'm 100% behind you. Not real.
Well,
Oh, this
it's
makes
good times.
meticulous chaos says some restaurants mix in a small amount of flour to the omelets and scrambled eggs to make the fluff up. This explains a lot of why you randomly just have to go to the bathroom when we go places.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So remember at Shoney's? What was it? Shoney's, yeah. Well, first of all, I can't eat anything at IHOP because they put batter in everything, even the eggs. They put batter in the eggs. Don't ask me why.
Damn it, that's why they're so good.
Yeah,
I
no,
was just at an IHOP. I was like, why are these eggs like just pure crack?
it does not make sense.
These eggs are so much better than my eggs at home. Now I get it.
And like the Shoney's breakfast bar, I also can't do the eggs. I have to ask them for real eggs. Generally, they bring them out.
With spit in them. Yeah.
Well,
That's
yeah.
your life.
Just do
That's your
your,
life.
Couldn't you just do your eggs like over easy so you don't have to worry about them adding it? Because
Yeah.
I mean, like that's for scrambled eggs.
That's why he has
Well,
to
yeah,
go
but
ask.
if
They
it's
don't.
from
They,
a buffet,
well, it's Shoney's. They don't have a tray of fried eggs.
yeah.
Oh, it's a.
They literally
no,
have
I
them.
didn't know. I thought it was like IHOP where you order your food. Okay, so it's.
Oh no, I have. I don't think they have the capability. Like I can't go to IHOP. I can't go to Bojangles. Um,
Shoney's slaps if all you care about is like French toast sticks and bacon.
I got glutened at Cracker Barrel eating the veggies, the corn and the green beans.
You got
And here's the wild thing, guys. Here's the wild thing.
gluten.
I got glutened eating the veggies at Cracker Barrel. So they put it in everything. For the longest time, I shit you not, I thought I was allergic to shellfish. I never had an official test for the longest time. Just my doctor always telling me that she suspected that I was gluten intolerant, and I was like, that's not real. And I used to always go to Red Lobster, and I used to always have a reaction. And one time I got like Hitch, you know, that movie with Will Smith, like everything swelled up, all my joints
How
everywhere.
many cheddar biscuits did you eat though?
But that was the thing. I would
Hundreds.
always eat the Cheddar Bay biscuits, and that
Shellfish.
shit is airborne. So I always thought it was the shellfish, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm allergic to shellfish, but not all these breads I'm stuffing in my mouth and breathing in.
It's like
Gotcha.
airborne gluten assault when you walk into a
It
Red
is
Lobster.
literally airborne at a Red Lobster. I mean, not that they exist anymore, I don't think, but
Yeah, pour one out for our fucking cheddar bay biscuits, dude.
man, they sell a kit. You can get the box. I have some in the
It'll
the
never
fridge.
be
My
as
girlfriend made
good
them.
as fresh at the restaurant. It'll never be close.
Bro. If you
I
can't eat
don't
the shit
believe
at the
you.
restaurant and there is no restaurant, this is the second best thing.
Mm.
Anyways, but I don't even know what I was talking about originally.
So what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about the big winners at Nova. Break down
Oh,
some
yeah.
of those factions because we actually have content there. Rob's got some news. You have to go into the after hours if you want to hear Rob's 25-minute hot take on GW previews. He was on a roll.
Eh.
He was on a roll.
I just think everybody
not a
should
lot,
try
not a
different
lobster roll, but like metaphorically, he was on a roll.
Yeah.
So
like a California roll.
no, well,
Maybe
what's
Philadelphia.
what's on a California roll?
No cheese?
Avocado.
Oh, avocado. Oh yeah, just avocado rice and you know the wrap.
Okay, avocado roll.
You get it's the same thing for the Philadelphia, but they have the cheese in it.
Fair. So let's kick off our show with a legendary Peabody Award-winning segment called "Let's Roll Out to the Cave of Wonders and Touch Nothing But the Lamp."
All right. Would you rather every morning wake up in an alternate universe, or every time you go to sleep and you wake up a new day, something catastrophic happens?
Catastrophic to me, or just like the world in general?
Just in general, like every single day, something crazy happens. Or every time when you go to sleep, when you wake up, you basically like
I'm in Sliders.
quantum leap, right?
That's
into a new universe.
No, yeah, I'm like when like the premise of sliders, like if they're sliding into alternate realities.
Yeah.
Like that's
Like there'll never be like two of you in even one
No.
universe because you take up that spot.
Okay, you take up the spot. So
It's like Quantum Leap.
well,
Like,
Quantum Leap, you're jumping into someone's body and you have to solve
yeah,
their
but it's your
problems.
body. I'm just drawing that.
So I'm so
so it's like it's
quantum
you,
leaping
but in a
into
new
my
universe.
well, quantum leap's time travel. That's not alternate reality. So it's quantum leap sliders because they could meet their alternates in their reality, but it's not time
Yeah,
travel.
you can't. You take up the spot of yourself.
They're
in that
very
universe.
clear. They're not time traveling. They're
And
sliding.
basically, like the only way to ever shift again is to like fall asleep and then wake up.
So I quantum leap into myself in another reality, and then I'm only out the next time I go to sleep and wake up.
Huh.
But I'm never stable. Like it's constantly changing forever.
Yeah.
Or every day I wake up, some catastrophic event occurs. Now, catastrophe on like 9/11 level, like motherfuckers gonna die, or
Yeah,
I mean,
what are we talking about? Because I feel like as a small business owner, every day is a catastrophe.
yeah. I mean, like there's chances that something cool could happen. I mean, something can be catastrophically fun, or like just like a really
Okay.
big thing happens every day. I guess is a better way to say it, right? So there's like it'll never be boring. It'll always be interesting. Some massive event will happen every day.
it's big enough that I notice. Like it's huge.
Oh yeah.
Will it affect my life?
I mean, depends. What if the stock market crashes? Does that affect your life?
I don't know if the stock market can crash.
I don't know
anymore.
what the stock market is. So I mean, maybe.
Oh my god. You know what I mean?
I don't know if they'll let it.
No, I think I'd slide. I think I'd change realities every morning. Because I can't risk a like 9/11 event being on my conscience, knowing that all I had to do was Scott Bakula my way into myself in an alternate reality to avoid that.
Yeah, and alternate realities are, complete mystery.
Well, I mean, they're not. Like, I'm pretty sure I know it's going to be mostly not good. It's going to be mostly shitty for me. Because, like, I assume that there's only a handful of Kenny variants that don't live in a van in, like, the street. I mean, like, I'm going to assume that I'm
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, like that's all dependent on like a lifetime of choices within said universe. I mean, like, what if you shift into a universe where your parents were like extremely wealthy? Do you
one
think
out of 1,000. It's going to be mostly me in a van opening the door, like, in my brother's driveway or in my parents' driveway or on the beach or worse. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's gonna be most of my life.
I mean, maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised then. Who knows?
Yeah, then once in a while I'm gonna wake up and be like, this is tight. I'm rich as fuck for 12 more hours. Tight.
Yeah, but what would you put those odds at? Because I mean, even 1 in 1,000 is 1 every 3 years.
For one day, one day, 12 hours, 10 hours, like 15
okay,
hours.
never mind.
Like, but I mean, I make peace with that. I already know what it's like to live at the pinnacle of a Kenny variant. Like, this is basically the top.
You are the one.
Yeah. So, van life for me for the next eternity.
Van Wilder.
Van Wilder. Like, if I was being real, a lot of my variants don't make it out of Colorado.
But how many make it even to Colorado?
50%.
Huh.
Like, as long as, like, it's dependent on parents, right? As long as a freak accident didn't occur to my parents,
Right.
like, mostly we're making it to Colorado. But, so we're going to have the occasional Kenny lives in Miami in a van. We're going to have the occasional Kenny lives in a trailer. Doesn't own a van because he can't afford one. But, like, he lives in a trailer. Trailer's a loose term for a place or a domicile in which methamphetamines are consumed. There's going to be definitely a couple where he's in prison, no doubt. But he's pretty smart. He's not going to be in jail all the time. So, a lot of trailer park meth Kennys, a lot of van in South Hialeah Kennys. I I think that's gonna be like 50% of the time, and then you're gonna get the odd Kenny's rich as fucking famous in Hollywood, and you're gonna get like Kenny was born in a mansion and he's so fucking rich.
It's
To
gonna be some real whiplash, dude. Especially if you get like a really nice one. As soon as you fall asleep, you're gonna shift.
back to the van.
Oh, that'd be brutal.
I think is I'm gonna know most of how the van. I mean, this thing is like I'm gonna know everything. I'm gonna be like, keys are here, fucking underwear's here. Oh, here's my crack pipe. You know what I mean? Like, that's yeah. I'll do that. It's kind of fun actually. Now that I'm saying it.
Rob just
Man.
hoping that he jumps into a version of himself without the glutens.
Yeah, you're not allergic to anything yet.
You
I
think
don't
that
know.
you think there's a version of Rob that's not glutens?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Maybe.
Or you're gonna just
Oh,
jump into versions of Rob that don't know why they feel like shit all the time?
Yeah, that's the
yeah.
thing, dude, is that like so many aspects of our life are just determined by like random outcome. I mean, like your genetics are the genetics of your parents like smashing together and then like stuff happens or it doesn't happen. I mean, like Rob could jump into a body where he has like dark brown hair, for example, or like different color eyes. Like any one of those super minute things that could spawn an alternate universe using the endless universe
Oh, I
theory.
can be a lady Kenny sometimes.
Oh yeah, you could. That could happen.
The Lady Kenny.
Yeah.
Aquarius set says that's gonna happen occasionally. All right, that'll spice it up a little bit.
That would spice it up.
Yeah.
Not, I think I'd probably just do the, I mean, as long as the catastrophe thing is just relevant to me, I feel like I deal with a lot of that on a daily basis already.
Oh no, it's
Mo-
not. It doesn't just happen to you. It's like a big event happens
To the
every
world.
day. Yeah.
Oh, doesn't that already happen
It
already
does,
though?
but now you'll never know if it
No.
was because of you. Like you're
No.
gonna hear about this tsunami that hits fucking Japan and kills like 30 people, and you'll be like, was that my fault?
Dude, I cannot even, I will not even lose sleep over something like that. That's not even in the realm of my power.
But what if it's that tsunami was sheerly only because you chose not to go fucking live Scott Bakula life?
I don't know why anybody would choose to be Scott Bakula because everybody knows he never gets back to his home. So like,
Sliders,
Except he did, and then he like
he
was
did
like,
not.
ah, it's not time. I'm gonna go back.
No, he didn't.
even in Sliders, they went to their house one time, but somebody fixed a squeaky lock and they thought it wasn't his house and they kept sliding.
Damn.
Fucked.
I don't know. I guess, man,
Just
if
wake up and have no arms. Oh my god, I didn't think of that.
I don't know. I feel like there's a catastrophe every day, depending on what news channel you listen to, or
If I get super drunk in my van in like Hialeah, do I wake up hungover in my new reality?
It depend on whether or not the Kenny in that universe
yeah,
also drank heavily the night before.
Oh my
you're
god,
like, dang, I made some bad decisions
bro,
last
I'm
night,
gonna get
And I
so
mean, like,
fucked
but it
up.
wasn't me.
every one of these universes, it could be like wildly different, or it could be
Mm.
very, very similar. So it's like if you have a proclivity to drinking every night, then the odds are that you could go to sleep and then wake up in the body of another person version of yourself that got super drunk the night before.
It's true. I'm about to up the ante though. I'm gonna go
That's a
wild.
lot to think about.
Yep, I'm going Scott Bakula Slider variant. I think it'd actually be fun as hell. Like
I
for
don't know.
sure, there's no version of this where I slide into like an office like PowerPoint presentation. That's never gonna happen. I know that.
I don't know, man.
That could be a catastrophe in and of itself.
And even if
You
it
know,
does,
it's like,
I'm just walking out of there. Fuck it.
oh yeah, it's like
None
you
of this
don't
shit
care.
matters.
I don't give a fuck about this.
It's different Kenny's problem.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, in line with that, think about how many more alternate universes that you spawn off of that universe by changing that person's like decisions and usual mannerisms.
Oh yeah. I mean, First things first, gonna pull out my smartphone, check the whatever the Facebook of that reality is, see what's going on, see if there's anything kind of gangster happening. Go do that, you know.
Hmm.
What if I'm a bug, insect, like a wasp more?
I don't know. I don't know if that would happen because it would have to be you, right? And so like, I don't.
Mhm.
I think you get too far on the weeds and like break the concept.
Okay. So worst thing that's gonna happen is I wake up with no dick. Got it.
Is it though?
I like how you're just
I wake up
strangely
with a
okay
dick in my
this.
mouth. That's
Ah, I see it. All right.
and no dick. Alternate universe, 100%.
No, I don't know. I feel like there's just always going to be a catastrophe. That's life.
So who takes my spot while I'm sliding around?
You go in the green room.
Oh yeah, I just vanished in the green room. But it's not
Remember?
time. It's not time travel though. This is real, like continuity. This is chronological time.
I
Like,
mean, I'd say it might be like
the guy I bump out is my life.
no,
Oh,
it was
it's
like
like Freaky Friday.
what's that movie with Adam Sandler where he gets the remote?
Click.
Yeah, and he just so like when he presses fast forward, like everybody else just perceives him and he's just kind of like on autopilot, like he's not his normal self. Maybe he's not very talkative, like that kind of thing. So maybe when you're sliding, your prime body is just on autopilot.
Hmm. Maybe.
But I mean, at the end of the day, do you really care? Because like you're never coming back. So
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
always. I mean, I don't. I mean, you guys might be concerned if I can't do my job and shit. If I'm just like crackhead Kenny now.
yeah.
I think it's funnier if I change out with those guys. So a lot of those guys' lives will go up a notch. You know what I mean?
That could be I mean, like, what if you transfer into like a Kenny that their world like never got past the Bronze Age? That you just have like a version of you that's a caveman savage in your parents' house all of a sudden.
Yeah. For
Oh,
like
no.
24 hours. Bro, you'd have to the chronicle of how my life goes from there, right? Like,
Yeah.
so then caveman Kenny gets tranquilized, taken to
Well, I mean, yeah,
crazy,
eventually, like,
and
they would just
then
come into your
future
life and you'd
Kennys
just be in jail.
slide into me in like a psychiatric ward, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Bro, this Kenny's fucked," not knowing that like this Kenny's a normal Kenny. It's just that caveman Kenny slid in here, and this is why we are on the prison. This is why we're here now. And then we're gonna have to
Yeah.
wait until like one of the Kennys, who's like a psychiatrist, slides in and talks his way out of the psychiatric ward for the story to continue. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. That'd be a hard story to believe.
That's a lot.
Because it's always going to start with, I woke up in a different universe. And they're just like, okay, guy.
that's what I'm saying. Like, he never gets out of this. It's just escalating. He's like, he's getting crazier every day, crazier than the caveman guy, right? Like,
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, at what point would the psychiatrics be like, dude, he's up to like 200 different personalities? Like, maybe he has a point. Maybe like,
yeah, like
'cause,
50.
like, there's no documented case of
Yeah,
somebody that's
there's
like
no
actually
clinical
has,
reference.
yeah, like somebody who actually has schizophrenia having like a completely different actualized.
Yeah, and I'm
personality
speaking new
for, like, a year in a
languages,
row.
showing new skills, like real top tier shit.
Yeah,
like-
eventually they figure that shit out.
Not for show.
Yeah, eventually I get out. Triceratops is like, what percentage of alts have STDs? 100.
100%.
Yeah.
It's asking the tough questions.
All right. Up, somebody in chat, Jordy is like, BolterCon! Exclamation point.
Yeah.
Yo, boy, got a bunch of people going.
Mm-hmm.
But let's kick it over to Rob. Rob is gonna be boring and just do his job every day and not smoke crack with me on the in a van.
Sorry, Kenny.
Can me and Rob find each other if we both were sliding alternate realities and it would sync up?
I mean, the odds are, astronomically low, but not zero.
I'd be like, that's not my candy.
Can I request that it just is the way it works? But we're gonna always be separated by geography. Like we're not even gonna always be in the same country.
Possibly.
We're not gonna know each other's phone numbers and shit. Like, what if the Kenny and Rob in this reality have never talked to each other?
Oh man, what if
But
that's the way you finally stop sliding?
We have to find. I have to find Rob Baer.
I don't know. Yeah, you have to find your prime Rob.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I show up at your house and I'm like, Rob, you don't know me, but I know you. You have to trust me on this, dog. I know that you've never not worn 2 shirts. Who else knows that? Come on.
Yeah, no one else. Everybody on the internet.
Okay. Okay, now I'm done now.
All right, fair enough. Oh man. All right, so it's Blood Angels weekend. The Army box sets will be hitting stores this Saturday. So I'm sure a lot of folks are going to be excited to get their hands on that and get a scheming and building. I think at the Nova Open preview, they said that the Blood Angels Codex would be along in a few weeks, air quotes, which let me look at the calendar here. I think they also said that the Kill Team box was going to be pre-order in September for delivery in October, which may or may not be the 15th. So in theory, I guess we could see them as early as the end of the month, the second wave, or early October, because remember, all the pre-orders are a 2-week delay now, from when they announced it on Sundays to when they actually hit stores, which I know it's confusing for a lot of people because I forget myself too. I go up to the store and I was like, yo, let me get and they're like, that's next week. And I was like, did it again. But it is what it is. It's hard to keep track of. I did want to mention that SFG's Kickstarter for P3 Paint will be out. Well, will be live next Tuesday. So if you're into another paint line or one paint line returning in force, something that's kind of cool about this is they will have new colors, and they announced last week that there would be your choice of dropper models or the original flip tops.
Are they going to be literally
Which
the
is-
same paint?
In a lot of cases, yes, but there will be a few new colors supposedly. And that's all I know.
Somebody asked me the other day, like if I was excited for it, and I was like, nah, not really. I mean, they're like, but you love P3. It's like, I mean, I used to, like, for sure.
Yeah.
But like,
that was then.
It's all old tech now, though. Like to me, it's a little late, man. Like they need, they left the. I mean, I know it's not the same company now, and they're being smart by kickstarting this legacy paint line, and they'll probably make some decent cash on it.
Well, I mean, look at the Two Thin Coats. The first one did like $1 million something, right?
Well, that's because Duncan. Like this is.
Well, sure.
This is legacy. Right? It's like legacy paint, like alumni status. Like, oh, this paint used to slap. I wish I could get some. You know what I mean? So I imagine it's gonna do okay, but I don't think anyone's really been asking for this.
I won't lie. It's a crowded marketplace out there. And I think, there's a place for everything, and some stuff just ain't gonna make it. And that's just the way it is. Especially in 2024 when people can't afford groceries. There probably doesn't need to be as many lines of things as there is in the miniatures hobby space. Probably doesn't need to be as many, and I had a big conversation with one of the major paint makers out there about this. And, I don't know if y'all noticed, but on Instagram, there's a whole lot of folks coming out with new products like paintbrushes, paints, accessories, different hobby supplies. I get the messages all the time like, hey man, talk about this, talk about that, talk about this. I'm like, oh, okay, you're making a paint line, cool. You're making paintbrushes, cool. Show me some painted miniatures. I go and I look at their Instagram account. I don't see one single painted miniature they painted. Like, how are you going to try to sell me some paintbrushes and a paint line when I don't even see painted shit on your profile going back 2-3 years? You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of folks coming out of nowhere, trying to get their money, and then they disappear. And take that for what it is. Do your research, you know? Like, are they going to deliver the product they say are? Are they just going to disappear? You know, you
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of people talking about a lot of things because the hobby is in the spotlight. So just keep that in mind next time you see a big ad about whatever you can't live without. Because maybe you can. I don't know. We talked a lot in the after hours about the Nova Open preview. I think I would be safe to say it was universally panned.
Yeah, that
Very, very
seems accurate.
very low energy. Very presumptuous on Games Workshop's part, just to be like, here's some new stuff coming out. We're not even going to show you pictures. And I don't know. This is a brave new world, and we'll see. What did they say in dodgeball? That's a bold move. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out for him.
Yeah, bold move,
But so
cotton.
far, it's played out well. In September, we know that they're going to vote on the official adopting of their new CFO. We'll see how that goes. They should last September. They were like, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but they're like, hey, we made too much money on 10th edition release. Here's some back to all the investors. Will that happen this September because they made too much money off of Age of Sigmar release? I would be very surprised if that happened, to say the very least, because Skaven Tide is sitting around. And from what I heard at Nova Open, they were up to 40% off there. You can get Skaven Tide at as low as $180 on eBay right now. It's below map all day, every day on Amazon, and GW doesn't seem very keen on enforcing this while sticking stores with product that they have to sell at map because it's still listed on their website. So at some point, it will not be on their site, and stores can sell it for whatever, and then it will be the wild, wild west. But until then, stores are stuck with whatever they got talked into from Games Workshop. So do I think this summer was a big success for Games Workshop? Me personally, opinion wise, no, I don't. But from what I've seen in the past, somehow they keep making money. And it does not, to my personal observations and my polling of stores and talking to people in the know and people all across the world, it doesn't make sense to any of us. But there's the black and white, and they keep making the money, and they keep doing the payouts, and they keep giving their employees bonuses. So hey, I guess it's working. I don't know how. It doesn't make sense to me, but there we are. We also know that there's probably going to be some Eldar aspect warriors. They said in the video that some that I forget the exact terminology, but they said of multiple some variant of multiple aspect warrior kits would be redone. And then in the article they basically said sweeping hawks in the article. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see sweeping hawks. Maybe we'll see warp spiders too. That'd be very exciting because both of those kits are very dated. Me personally, I'm excited about Deathcore Krieg if done correctly, because anybody has taken a look at the plastics from 2021 and the Forge World line from the past 15 years, and they are completely different. Not just in scale, but also in style.
I mean,
So,
you don't think there's a pretty valid reason for that, Rob?
well, sure.
We're just thinking about it for a minute. You don't think there's a reason they walked away from some aesthetics of the Deathcore?
Yeah, I get that part, but I don't feel like, well, Kenny will tell you that the bayonet or the ends of the carbines all completely would break apart from the Forge World models back in the day. And
Yeah, the
if you
Forger
got,
model sucked dick. That's why they walked away from him.
well, the barrels did.
The whole model.
I don't know about that.
The new plastic one slap.
I mean, the new plastic ones are nice. And if they were like, hey, this is the very first kit, I'd be like, oh, these are dope. But being somebody that has quite a bit of the old ones, I I definitely want to be careful with what I mix and match. Me personally, as a collector,
Rob, you're just a grumpy old gamer.
I don't know if that's the
That shit looks
case.
the same, dude.
Looks better.
I mean, you can't hold each of the miniatures up to each other. They're notice. Well, I guess if you're playing on the tabletop, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart that much, for sure.
The new ones are
Um,
jacked.
Yeah, dude. You want an army of Giga Chads or little manlets?
Mm-hmm.
they're not that chatty, but I
Nice.
think it'd be very cool to see. I mean, obviously they want to keep them in the whole like Astra Militarum, existing kind of rosters, but like maybe a variant, kind of like with the Marine stuff. You got your Blood Angels, but they're just a little different. You got your Dark Angels, but they're just a little different. So I'm kind of hoping it's sort of like that, where you get a lot of the similar units. Um,
Yeah, like kind of surprised why people are like, "Oh my god, they're finally doing Plastic Krieg." And I'm like, "Bro, you guys have had that for like years at this point. Like, are you really, nitpicking about, oh, I don't have Kriegsman weapon crews for these gun emplacements?" And it's like, yeah, you do. You just take the guys from the infantry kit and put them over on that one. Like, they have to be bespoke to every single data sheet until you're happy.
Yes,
It's just dumb.
I am dumb. I'm a Deathcore Creek fan.
I mean, you could just use the old models if you didn't have them built, and just not use like the mortar and just put them on the whatever
Do
the
they always
new.
wear their gas mask though? No.
Apparently.
Sometimes they're just chilling, dude. Sometimes they're just chilling. They don't need to be wearing that shit 24 hours a day. They're not Mandalorians. And even half the Mandalorians don't wear their masks.
That's bold. How could you say something so bold?
Do they always need a little shovel in their backpack?
I don't know, man. There's a reason that I sold my Deathcore army, and the diehard Deathcore Krieg fanboys are probably the biggest one.
That's what we're making fun of.
I don't know. I have a bunch of them painted, so that's what I'm gonna stick with. If I had
Painted. You
Cadians,
mean
that'd be.
you sprayed them gray and threw a wash on them? You didn't even put that much time into it.
You painted half of them, more than half.
Yeah, I know what I did.
No, I have a quite extensive collection of deathcore. Uh, just not refreshed up to the new plastics, but that's okay. We'll see what they come out with, because I would like an excuse to play with the Gorgon. I don't know what you could even possibly use it as is at this point, but the thing's cool. Um,
Poop shovel. Thanks, Carrot Quit. That's what it's called.
Yeah, dude. Deathcore Kriegsmen are like cats. They got to cover their poops.
There you go. Um, so who knows what we'll actually see, but apparently they said full range, whatever that means, and I'm here for it. Skaven pre-orders go live this week on Saturday. Pretty much everything. I think there was like one thing, the rattling cannon, that was delayed in some regions, but I don't think that's a big deal breaker for a lot of people, because again, Skaven Tide's pretty much easy to find. So if you're into Skaven, that is going to be this weekend's pre-order, including the book. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but they have this thing, instead of a collector's edition, they call it the Gamers Edition, where it's like, you remember the old mini rule book, but now but for this, they're doing a mini battle tome, and it's got like a little sleeve on the bottom where you can tuck the battle tome into the sleeve, or dust jacket, whatever you want to call it. But on the back, you can put all the war scrolls. So like they have, the little war scroll cards, so you can pack it all. You basically like put it all together. Like you have everything right there in a little mini format, which I don't know if they'd ever come out with anything for 40K. Because first of all, it's the codex and the data cards, or war scroll cards. It's $80, and it's only available through Games Workshop. So it isn't even like a general release item for game stores. But when you start thinking about it, you're like, oh, it's $80. Yeah, man, the hardcover Battle Tome is $60. So it's only $20 more. Like, which one do I want? Which one am I going to all these events? Do I want that space savings? Like, I don't know. It makes you it definitely I can see where some folks are like, well, which one's more important to me? So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes over and if there's a clamor for it on the 40K side, because maybe there will be, and it'd be interesting to see. I don't know if I don't know if it's viable because the changes happen so quickly, every 3 months. I guess technically it's 6 months on the rules because who cares if the points change? It's not going to affect anything. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Am I missing anything?
Physical books, don't buy them. That's my advice.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on it too.
They're worth $0 to me.
Especially with like all the free resources out there at this point, and the fact that you can still build armies in the app,
I'll buy
at
someone's code.
least
I'll
three
buy the code for $5.
for $5. Yeah, I got $5 on that. Um, and I did want to mention a little bit of a sad story. Uh, some of you might remember from the White Dwarf era, the early 2000s era. There used to be a gentleman in that was featured quite frequently called Paul Sawyer, who left Games Workshop in 2007, along with another gentleman to form Warlord Games around that time, both together. Unfortunately, he was also called Fat Bloke in the White Dwarf. If that rings a bell, I played White Scars. He announced on his own social media over the weekend that he was diagnosed with brain cancer and
Mm,
that
that's
he
rough.
had limited time left. So that's rough to hear from somebody, the one of the founders of Warlord Games, and also,
Damn.
somebody who was featured very heavily in the early 2000s
Yeah.
Games Workshop era. Um, so obviously thinking about that, uh, that's rough. But sometimes you get to do a lot with the time you have left, and I guess that's the positive takeaway from all this. So, I think he was hoping to be at the Warlord Open Day here in a few weeks at their HQ. So,
Mhm.
Guy's
It's rough to
the
hear.
guy's a legend.
oh yeah, for sure. That's pretty much all I got for the news. I hope everybody enjoys the Blood Angels. Excited to see what they do, because I think it's safe to say we love some Blade Angels on this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Wyatt, you want to talk about that?
Oh, at the league?
The league, yes.
The League.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, pick the worst time to put glue on something. All right. Yeah, so friends of the channel, Green Banner Event Co. They put on Cali Cup. Kenny, you were there last year as their announcer slash hype man slash color commentary. Went over great. They are creating more events. So there's going to be a Cali Cup again this year. And they're also having some new events come up. Namely the Silver State Major that's going to be in July next year. So we're looking forward to that. And they are pushing out their league format. So for people who don't know what a league is, it's play 40K every week and you sign up for the league and you get put into pods or groups, whatever you want to call them. You get a
Mm.
schedule where you're like, okay, Rob, you have 6 weeks to play these 5 individuals, and afterwards those scores are recorded. So it's kind of like a tournament that is played out over the course of 6 weeks, right? And there's some additional rules, like you can swap out your list one time
Okay.
during the league, and you have a sideboard, right? So like one of the things they like to do is like you can't switch factions and that sort of stuff, and they don't want full list changes between every week because they just want to avoid the chances that somebody could be like, oh, well, I'm playing Kenny and I know he plays Death Guard, so I'm going to switch to my army that like totally trounces him. Like
Oh,
part of it is that like you are supposed to play in this league to have a good time, to try to maybe get better at 40K. spend time to like hobby up on an army that you're getting ready for a tournament, right? So um, all in all, it's just a lot of fun. We just finished the inaugural season for the San Diego League, and we're starting season 2. And some of the other leagues are starting up. So like LA is starting up. There's an online league. So if maybe you want to join one of these leagues, but you live across the country or in a place where they're not interested in starting up a league, you can sign up for the TTS league. We also added Denver and Reno. They're going to start their leagues up soon. And yeah, so if you want to check out these events or you want to see about signing up for a league, or if you're somebody in your local community who creates events for your guys, head over to greenbannereventco.com, all one word, Green Banner Event Co. And for those people listening live, I'll put it in the chat again if you want to
Okay.
check that out. They have a link there on the homepage for joining the Discord for Green Banner and for the league stuff. So you can talk to the company owners and the guy who's overseeing the league format stuff. And then I've been told they're also going to have alternate ways of getting in direct contact with them coming soon.
Hype.
I don't think there's been a like an independent like global or even regional kind of league type thing. I mean, I guess you saw it a lot during the lockdown with like TTS stuff. Um, but this is cool.
No, it was really cool. I mean, it's
Yeah, they run a tight ship.
yeah. I mean, preparing a league format to help people organize a league at their local game store is really awesome.
Uh-huh.
Get the ball rolling for them.
High
So
quality events.
let's do a commercial break, listen to our sponsors, and then let's talk about Nova results. All right, we're back. So we haven't had a lot of opportunity, I guess, in the middle of the summer to do any kind of breakdown, top 8, top 10 situation. But we did just have the Nova Open take place, and that's a pod structure, which is a pretty beloved structure by a lot of competitors out there. They also had what do they call it? The Capital Palette, their painting competition,
Mm-hmm.
run similarly. So, a lot of winners this last weekend. But this is a mostly 40K focused podcast, so tell me about the.
Wait, I thought this was Titanicus.
We're also. Oh, I'm painting a Titanicus model, Rob.
Are you fucking with me?
No,
Which one?
obviously the top tier shit.
You don't even know.
Iconoclast War Master Titan. How does that sound, motherfucker?
Oh,
I don't know.
I mean, that's just
Got nothing to say?
that's just like a that's just a normal Titan.
Yeah,
Like a big one or Titanic? What are you painting?
an Iconoclast War Master.
Oh, the close combat one. That one's a good one.
Yeah, I know.
That thing's as big as Imperial Knight.
Yeah, I saw your video. I googled that shit, dude. Saw your little hands holding it up next to a blue Titan.
Very, very, very small hands.
I was like, that's the top tier shit. I'm painting that.
A lot of trim. A lot of trim.
After last weekend, when I talked about opening up sponsored content, I got a request, special request from someone.
Really? That's cool.
They're like, well, I mean, I want this or this, but I mean, I guess you don't want to pay Titanicus? It's like, I'll pay Titanicus. Okay. He was like, really?
$20 is $20.
This motherfucker over here, like, you don't know shit. You're not gonna pay no Titanicus.
Well, I'm glad that she kept an open mind about that. What what Legio
The purple marble guys.
purple marble guys.
Purple with white, sometimes presented in marble. Whatever the fuck that shit's
Hmm.
called. I don't know.
I'm I don't know if that was one of the original ones because I'm drawing a blank on that one.
It's popular. You see it if you Google that shit. You see it.
Oh, okay.
But
Cool.
yeah, they were. I forgot. I
I'm ex-
needed. I needed to tell you about it, and I was like, "That you just reminded me."
I'm excited to see the updates on it.
So I'm gonna start later this year, but it's in the works.
Oh,
I'm paid it works right now because I'm a reasonable human who doesn't give a fuck about nonsense.
we featured the Kragnos she did.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, that looked good.
All right, let's kick it back to Wyatt. So Wyatt, talk about these pods.
Yeah.
What makes Nova different than a lot of other 40K events, and break down the championship pod.
Yeah, so a couple of interesting things because the pods have a lot of metrics like secondary, tertiary, quaternary metrics that determine what pod you're in after the day of play where you place. So you play like 4 games, then you get sorted into pods, and then you play more games, right? And so pros and cons, they're there. But the I guess like the top pod, the golden pod, championship pod, whatever they want to call it, top 5 in that was 5th place Tyranids, Thousand Suns, CSM Sisters, then CSM taking the cake. And so the CSM that won their list is the Chaos Cult. And I mean, like, the title of the list is Cultists, so you can probably know where this is going to go, right?
Yeah.
They got a Cypher. He does cool stuff for secondary play by his onesies. Dark Apostle, Dark Commune, Fabulous Bill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Cultist units. Trader Guardsman unit, Trader Guardsman unit, Trader Guardsman, Trader Guardsman, Trader Guardsman, Trader Guardsman, singular Rhino, and then we got 3 units of Occulted Curses. Then
A cursed cultist.
yeah, a single Beast of Nurgle. Those guys can be really annoying sometimes. And some Demonettes, Nurglings, and some Seekers as allies.
God, that list sucks so much.
I mean, I
There's
guess
lots to choose
turns
through.
out it does not suck because it just won 9-0
No,
at Nova.
God, that list sucks though. Like, it's just all nonsense to deal with.
Yeah, there's all like whenever we see lists like this, there's always like a thought in the back of your head, like, is this just really that tight, or is this list just like such a slog to play against that people just give up halfway through?
I mean, it is more bodies on objectives usually wins games, right? Especially if there's tricks up those sleeves, layers to it. And it's just God, it's just obnoxious to play against. We all know that list is hard. It's good, like, but there's like there's no flavor, right? Like that's what I mean by sucks. It's like there's no every choice is optimized, pure and simple.
Yeah, I mean, like the 2 easiest ways to outscore your opponent is to kill all their stuff immediately, or have so much stuff that doesn't die that you just control everything, right? Never dying or killing everything. That's 2 easiest ways to win a 40K.
It was in the old days. It still is.
Yeah, it turns out.
Yeah, I'd imagine that Kara said that list is almost always on the verge of timing out. Got to be fast and good to play with that.
Yeah, you have to practice with. I mean, you have to practice with something like that. Remember Ben Molly when he was running all that stuff like that, like, in that one event he went to, he was like, I just didn't practice. I didn't move quick enough. I think it was one of the LVOs.
You got to know your plan. You got to have some movement trays. You got to be joining on the spot. Like, I mean, it's kind of like playing orcs, right? Like, that was one of our big talks going into which LVO was it? 2018 or 2019? I can't remember. But that was like the first year they were like, we're gonna try out this chess clock thing. So like we're gonna see, like, it's not like totally mandatory unless you're on like the final tables, but like people are allowed to put them down and you gotta play with them.
If one person says we're playing on it, you're playing on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
people were like losing their fucking minds, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna show how easy this shit is. And I played Horde Orcs by myself and played all 5 rounds under time. And I was like, you guys are idiots. This is so easy. You just get movement trays. It's the easiest shit in the world.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean it's can be done. And yeah, Kara Quinn said a lot of the top games, the top tables, he got close on time but never timed out.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's a the red line that you have to skirt, right? Like, decisions are a lot more important when your stuff isn't particularly tough.
Mm,
Especially if you're playing this cultist game where you're like, kind of have to do the math of like, well, this is how many shots they can put out per turn, and basically looking at a cultist the wrong way kills it. So even basic bitch bolter shots are a threat, right? So I imagine that a lot of this is like in the movement phase, checking those sight lines, pre-measuring
Movement
your
perfect.
opponent's.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like that's one thing I'm myself am trying to get better with playing Inari is like you have to make sure that if I expose to kill something, that on the next turn, I have to know like what their movement values are, and I have to like pre-measure where they could possibly go on their turn while I'm making
hmm.
my decisions. And so like I haven't clocked out with it yet, but I have been like into the battle, like 2 minutes left, something like that.
That's close.
Hey, a lot of movement perfect interactions take up a lot of time.
Hmm.
Like absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna butcher his last name, but shout out to Derek Apshe. Apsh. Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. Tell me, like, send me a message and tell me how to say your name, and I'll correct myself next week. But congratulations, dude. That is a monumental undertaking to pilot that, and
Oh yeah.
also just to have that battle ready.
Oh yeah. What were the other places in the championship pod?
Sisters.
Yeah, Sisters came in second with the I don't know, like the Wish.com Firestorm Army. I forget the name of
No,
it.
Firestorm is the Wish.com.
Yeah,
Firestorm.
that was what I was gonna
Sisters is
say.
the
It's
real
like
shit.
uh we were talking when the rules came out, where I was like, this is bullshit. They could do all the stuff I can do, but for cheaper CP, and they have miracle dice and all their units are cheaper. So yeah, that is, if we're going off of like recent statistics over the past week, the flame detachment for sisters is becoming the most widely
Hmm.
played detachment for sisters, and sisters is seeing an uptick in representation.
Uh,
Um,
just a backpedal. Kara Quinn said this guy Ashy is won 2 super majors now.
wow, good for
Oh.
him, dude.
Yeah, he's
Gangster.
on tour right now.
What was third place? Third place also Chaos Space Marines with double checking Renegade Raiders.
We'll cut it. Another
Um,
cast list. How did that one look? Different.
it's gonna be very similar, like 3 Dark Communes, Cultist, Legionnaires, Rhino, Accursed. He's got a big old unit of bikers. Oh no, regular one, 70 points. So bikers. Don't see those every day. A couple of predators, a couple of vindicators. Yeah,
All right, that slaps. I like that.
yeah. I mean, like accursed cultist spam uh, is also becoming very popular with renegade raiders because of the synergy between the accursed datasheet rules and the renegade raiders detachment abilities with their stratagems and stuff. Very very tricky. Lots of movement shenanigans, different things like that.
Is this one of those
Uh,
jail lists, like where they put you in jail quick?
uh, it can
Hmm.
be kind of sort of because I
Yeah.
mean, like the thing with the cursed cultists is they have their like it's not blood surge, it's slightly different. Um, I can pull it up to tell you the name real quick. They just have like a move after taking damage kind of a thing, and they can fall back and act as normal for a CP.
So they can get up there
Uh,
pretty quick.
data sheets, cultist abilities. Yeah, so it's like it's a unit that it's been a problem all of this edition because of their weird thing. Like they have weird multi-wound model guys. They have like character attachment type stuff that gives them additional rules. Things like feel no pain throws your math off. Um uh yeah, so if a model is destroyed from shooting attacks, they can make a horde move. You roll 1d6. This unit can be moved a number of inches up to the result, but this unit must finish that move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit, excluding aircraft. When doing so, those models can be moved within engagement range of that enemy unit. Unit
Oh, it is like a blood
cannot make the
surge.
horde move while it is. Yeah, it's the wording is only very slightly different, but the effect is the same. And then yeah, so they have like a lot of move tech, right? And they are a battle line unit.
So
No,
you
no,
could
no.
like shoot one
Accursed
of those
cultists are
units
not
across the
regular
table, but
cultists.
by accident. Because it says every
Uh,
time a model's destroyed, right?
yeah. Each time.
You said yeah, so like you're like, whoops, I just sent this model 3d6 into my fucking army.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. No, that's so a lot of so they can put you in jail. Not as not as effectively, but they have elements, cage you in, lock you in with those units, comfortably
Right.
hold objectives in the backfield. So there's two accursed cultist lists in the top 10 and the top 8.
Right. I'm trying to
Significant.
pull up the name of the stratagem.
OP Sisters is Kara Quinn and many other people are saying online that the Barrel Dice need to get reined in.
Well, I mean, they did that with Eldari.
Yep. Miracle Dice are a little bit more annoying, though, in my opinion, than Fate Dice.
I agree.
Yeah, they're faster than you think, the cultists. And they do hit, the Cursed Cultists do hit kind of hard. Hit above their weight class a little bit.
Thing. Thousand Suns in 4th place, Tyranids in 5th place. And then I guess in a separate pod, there were 3 more 8-1s. CSM Raiders again, guard, and Sisters with the Martyrs attachment.
Chaos popular. Sisters popular. What else? Guard made it. So it's so 3 Chaos armies,
Yeah.
a Thousand Suns army, 2
Thousand
Sisters.
Suns are interesting.
Just a solid army all around.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's solid. So what is? Give me a look at the silver pod or whatever. If you can look at that.
Yeah. So the way this is displaying in BCP is just placements.
Okay, so it should be like 9th and on, right?
Don't know how many. I don't know how big their pods were. Is the thing. So what I'm seeing is that out to 16th place looks like 1 pod, because 17th place is the CSM player that went 8-1.
That you just talked about.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that like if you were in pod 1, even if you were like 16th place and got booty blasted in pod 1, you place higher than people in pod 2. Which is it's kind of one of those things that is like a con
No,
of the pod system.
I think they're only 8-man pods. That's what happened there. It's like because
Mhm.
other people went 8.
Oh no, so is it 16? It might be 16.
Oh, it
Is
is
it 8 or
okay.
16?
No, it's 16.
It's got to be 16 with
It's
the way these
16.
placements are. Yeah, I don't know. Like if it were me and I was one of these guys like 17, 18, 19 that went 8-1, but I got placed under somebody that went 4-5, that's pretty big, feels bad.
4 games, then pods. How many games in the pod?
I don't know. Don't know the format for
Is
Nova.
it just like
I think so. Once you get down to the pods, isn't it single elimination?
single elimination? That's what I think.
Yeah.
No, because this dude in 16th played 9 games.
Because he won his pod, right?
I don't know. He's placed 16. He's win negative, so there's no way he won the top
Oh,
pod. So like
well, yeah, because he
one
had
to
to have
16,
lost to go to a pod to go to the second pod.
this guy can't be in the second pod because he's ranked above the person who went 8-1. He's
Hmm.
got to. This guy has to have been like the bottom of pod one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you would have gone 8, and then they would split.
So 8 games,
So, yeah.
four more, at
Mm-hmm.
least. At least.
Yeah, well, they played 9. It's a
They
9-round tournament.
Damn. So the pods that break down. So we just looking at BCP. So I think the
Yeah, and it's also wild too because like there are people that clearly one guy. So like there's one guy, no, two, three, there's 3 guys that dropped out of the first pod. But they're still placed higher than people that went 8-1 because of how the pod system
so
works.
BCP can't display the pod system.
Yeah. So it's gotta be that. Maybe like the at the
Mm.
tournament placings were announced
No,
differently or whatever,
yeah.
but
Yeah, BCP can't really sort it out.
Yeah. Might just be too many people, too.
Well, there's other factors like if you're in the pod, if you're in this pod, regardless of how you got there and how it finishes, you are ranked above every other human in the tournament, regardless of what the win record states.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how the pods work. Like these 16 people are the top 16, no matter how their games play out.
yeah, which is like that's kind of the thing I was talking about is like that's the feel bads, right?
That's
Because like
yeah, but I mean,
if you do slightly better than somebody on day 1 and then get into pod 1, whereas they get relegated to pod 2, and then that person goes 8-1, you would think that like based on performance, they should be ranked higher overall.
hasn't been my experience. Like it's actually one of the only things I like about Nova is the pods. Like it actually
Yeah.
kind of, I think for the most part, is the opposite of that. It's like it gives you a reason to keep going because you can do well in your pod.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
Well,
and
actually,
I do recognize that.
in the indie documentation, it said that they expected you to continue playing unless you had to get with a TO to drop.
They
And then
really
you
because
had
they really want you to play. They've always wanted you to play all your games, even if
Yeah,
like
because it's like a little mini tournament afterwards.
kind of fucks
Mhm.
everything up if you don't. So they've always done whatever they could to incentivize everyone playing always and not dropping. It's
It
like
definitely seems like maybe 3 of these people, maybe 4 of the top pod, like maybe should not have been in the top pod. Because I mean, like it's all based on how you do in your placing games, right? So you do
Seed
like
games,
really
yeah.
well in your placing games, but then you get into the Shark Tank and you're like, uh-oh.
I'm in the wrong pod.
Yeah, and so like 3 people dropped.
Yeah, I'm in the wrong pod, baby. You know, I think yeah. So the BCP, it looks weird on BCP, but so that I mean that's it's a fun format. That's what the GW format is now, which makes sense because the person who started Nova is also the person organizing.
Yeah, it makes for a
GW
like a
events.
wonkier tournament competitively speaking, but it's way better for your average wargamer because it's like, okay, well, I'm going to this big tournament. There's going to be a lot of big fish there. It's possible that I get knocked around pretty bad day 1, but then I get to my pod and then day 1 doesn't matter because now I'm in my pod and it's like a little mini tournament. And so I can still win, quote
Mhm.
unquote, a tournament and get some price support. So like I do recognize that it is cool for that. But if you're talking like pure competitive fairness to try to get like the best rankings and stuff, it's a quagmire.
Mm-hmm. Garrett Quinn doesn't credit Nova with starting pods in 40K. But
that's personal choice, but
He was there, Gandalf. The last stand with the created pods.
he was there when the strength of men failed us.
He told Mike Brandt to throw it into the fire. He said no.
But there's always been a degree of pageantry associated with those events too. With the Nova event, like there's to put a lot into that. So I think the pod just supports that. And so I'm gonna go. I haven't been to one in many years because I don't go to that event anymore. But I'm gonna go to the Tampa Open with Wyatt next month, and that'll be my first time because that's the same format, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that'll be my first time experiencing that
Yeah,
format
and
in
like
a long ass time. So I'm excited to see what it's like.
I just have a different. You have to have a different mindset, right? And so it's like day one. The only thing that matters is you have to win all of your games, and you have to try to like just put the boots to whoever you're playing. If you want to get into the quote unquote tournament winning pod,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, the
That's
gold
the only thing that
bracket.
matters. Yeah, and so like if that's your goal is to win the GW Open, that's the only thing that matters. But if you just want to go to a tournament that has lots of pageantry and it's like in a cool city and it's going to be a lot of fun, and there's still a chance where if you get knocked around day one, you get put into a pod, you could then win that pod and get price support.
And it does
That's
lead
that
to
sounds like a lot
better,
of fun.
to like
Mhm.
actually more balanced game interactions because if the system's working correct, right? I play my ass off in the seeding rounds. Get my ass kicked a little bit, but I kick some ass a little bit. I end up in a pod full of people who do that, who did that as well.
Yeah.
And now we're like
True.
starting a new tournament of people who kick a little ass and get their ass a little kicked, right? Like, so you should feel like you're in the right place, right? Like, so that's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of been when it's most of the time working. That's so you find yourself in the bottom bracket, right? All the way to at the bottom of the tournament, like some of these people who just get their ass kicked a lot, right? And don't give up. They find themselves in a little mini tournament with a bunch of people who have the same mind frame of never giving up but get their ass kicked a lot. And then one of them gets the win.
Yeah.
Like that's so like there's it's always seemed to work out pretty well, and I'm excited to experience it. You know, like it's been like a decade, man. When was the last time I went to Nova, man? Fucking, I lived in North Carolina, I think.
2012,
Yeah, man, like
2011.
when I met you guys, they were already like, now we're never going back. So that was what, 2016?
Yeah.
Shit. Dude, I did the math on my stream last night and I was like, I've been doing this for just about 10 years. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
no,
old, dude.
I mean, I'm excited to go to, and also like I'm excited because the last time I went to a actual GW tournament, GT, Rob, is 2004 Atlanta,
Oh, I remember that one.
bro.
Oh, wild.
That's like the last time I went to an actual GW event.
They like scribbled the pairings on a sheet of paper and taped it to the wall.
Bro, it's the old days.
That's how we did it.
That's how we did it, man. It was that was
Everybody ran over there trying to like decipher it.
the Atlanta GT 2004. I won best
Yeah.
sportsmanship and second place.
I think I
Tie.
got. I don't remember what I got. I got something at that too.
Hod got best general.
Let me look it up.
It was wild, dude. Like that was the last time. So like then quickly after that, like they stopped doing GW events. And that was the time that was the time
And then
period.
they brought it back in like 07.
They did the games days. Like
Wasn't it at a games day? I think it was
no,
at a games day.
still the one I went to was not the games day. I think we talk about this sometimes. You were at a different one than I was. You were at the Atlanta Games Day.
Oh.
So they kept the games days for a while, but the GTs were done. And then that's when
Yeah, because the last games day was Memphis 2013, 2014. One of those years.
so
So I went to the last one. It was in Memphis.
yeah, like that's that period of time when the independent scene picked it up and kept it rolling,
Yeah.
right? Because we had nothing going. And so a lot of systems, you know, evolved out of the fourth edition era, the fifth edition era. A lot of, you know, big time brands that we know about today, like Adepticon,
Mhm.
came up in that time period. A lot of people tried, a lot of people failed to get something off the table, off the ground, but
Some people did for a few years.
so it's exciting that, you know, it's right here, dude. You know how, I had just moved to Colorado, Rob, and then I flew back to Miami, got in a car with like Hod, David, and like a couple other dudes, and drove Hod's Nissan Altima from Miami to Atlanta, right? But I was already living in Colorado. I just, you know, like, so it's like, so I didn't even have my Colorado license yet, still have my Florida license. Came back, we drove up straight to Atlanta. I'm driving fucking Hod's Altima. We're trying to drive straight through. And I fucking just, dude, this era, I was a very untrustworthy driver, dude.
Oh, I know the story.
I was driving like 120 and just blasted through like 2, 3 in the morning, blasted through just trying to get to this motherfucker, right? And I guess I zoomed through a fucking construction site. There's no one doing construction. It's shut down. It's middle of the night. But a fucking trooper pulls me over. Classic. Doesn't even hit me with the, why I pulled you over nonsense. He was like, you were going 120 to 60, dude. I was like,
Got him.
shoot me straight, dude. How bad is that? He's like, you go to jail, man.
Yeah.
I was like, fucked up, guys. And I'm sitting there, and he's like, dressing me down. And then another trooper rolls up. It's 2 a.m, troopers, Georgia state troopers. And then they start talking. They walk off to the side, start looking at me. They're laughing. They're talking. Then the other guy rolls up, and he just throws my license back at me. He's like, you got lucky. He's like, I went to the academy with this guy. I haven't seen him in 8 years, some shit. He's like, here's your ticket. It's like $500 in 2004, speeding ticket.
Ooh.
And I was like, shit, yeah. And then Hod's like, get out of the car. I'm driving, and drove us the rest of the way to fucking Atlanta.
As he should have.
Yeah. And we're poor. We hook up. We find this like straight up like, off-brand Wish.com Motel 6. You know what I mean? Bruh. Straight.
Some mergers definitely took place.
Dude, every stereotype you can think of was taking place in this place. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
bro, I didn't even go to bed. He stayed up looking out the window of his car all night. Right?
Damn.
Fucking get back to Colorado. Called Georgia, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm not paying this. And they're like, you're gonna get your license suspended. I was like, that's tight. I suspended my license on the East Coast, or Southeast. But I lived in Colorado for like 10 more years. So like a statute of limitation and everything passed long before I showed back up. But it's funny because that's not even the first time that ever happened to me. Because remember, when I was leaving Colorado, I got pulled over when I was going to get the U-Haul to drive to North Carolina.
Oh, I do remember this.
And they pulled me over, and they're like, your tag's expired. I was like, man, my tag's always expired. I play this game.
I never had tags. Jokes on you.
Yeah, for jokes on you, fucker. Because I play this game where they pull me over. They're like, your tags are expired. Here's the ticket for the court summons. I go in and I pay the fee. And I just play that game. And I usually get 2 or 3 rounds of that before I have to actually buy new tags. And it always is net cheaper. I did the math. I'm a gamer. But this guy came up. He's like, your tags are expired and your license is suspended. I was like, what now? He's like, yeah, man, unpaid seatbelt violation, like in 2000. He just named some date. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I had a memory of driving Tim Baptist's car to like Adepticon one year, years ago, driving through some little town, got paying for no seatbelt and threw that ticket in the trash. So here I am, trying to go rent a U-Haul with a suspended license, and I'm leaving. I'm leaving in like a day and a half, dude. Problem, you know what I'm saying? So then I had to go line everything up, call this, call that. I had to go down to the fucking Colorado Springs DMV. I had to go fucking schedule for a fucking learner's permit because I can't take the road test until I have a learner's permit.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I had to go into this motherfucker, do a written test, which I failed like 4 times in a row. After nearly going ballistic, the lady just gave it to me. I was like, I'm a grown fucking man. Just give me the goddamn learner's permit. So mad. Then I went to the driving school, paid this dude like $150 to watch me drive my car up and down the street a couple times. Then he gave me a piece of paper that I then jankily took to the fucking U-Haul place and said, will this work? And they're like, yeah, we get that more than you think. Fucking get the U-Haul and drive to fucking North Carolina. And then, here's what happens. I call fucking California up, or Colorado up, and I'm like, all right, so I got to deal with this ticket, dude. For my tags and everything, right? I have proof of, I got my insurance and my tags and everything. And he's like, yeah, I mean, you have to come in and pay the court clerk. I was like, oh yeah, okay, so straight up, like, I want to pay this, but like, I live in North Carolina now, dude, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, but like this the rules, man. You gotta come in and pay the clerk here.
In the era of online,
I was like, bro, I
you
can
gotta
mail you this check
come in.
right now, dude, or put someone on the phone, take my credit card information. They're like, that's not how it works. I was like, okay, so just can I record this phone call? You know, like, you know what I mean? Like they're like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm just gonna record this. I was like, one more time, please. They're like, yeah, the only way is you come in here and pay. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't live there. And I'm offering to mail you a check right now. They're like, sorry, we can't accept that check. I was like, okay, bye. Like, so they fucking suspended my license in Colorado now. So this, like, the day I moved to fucking North Carolina, Rob, after that whole fiasco, Colorado basically suspends my license into that year. And then I wait out the statute limitation again on that. Then I go to bro.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I've lost my
like 10
license
years.
like 5 times.
I was kind of thinking about something similar when I drove up to Hammer Wrath because I took a tollway up there,
Oh no.
Orange County, and I was like, oh, they have like this pay by tag system where you gotta like pay them online or whatever, and I'm like, wait a minute, so have Texas plates. Like, for all intents and purposes, I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
And so like I'm never gonna pay this, and they're gonna try to find me. They're gonna say, oh, Texas plates. They're gonna try to track me down to Texas. They'll never fucking find me. So I'm just gonna ride out my Texas plates until I can't anymore.
Yeah. Eventually, yeah. That's always what I do. I just write it out until unless I need proof of like unless I need something official from the government to show someone. Oh wait, I just write that shit out. 100%.
But didn't you like never get California plates on your truck in all the years that you lived here?
No, I did because I had to prove.
Oh, okay.
I that's why I got them because I had to at some point. I had to get a license and therefore I had to. But that's it. I never like upped the tags on them. I drove from California to Florida with like 3-year expired tags. That's kind of my game.
Risky business.
No, I had a whole cover story. I like remember I hit that gas station in Arizona, got like a camo hat with a American flag on it.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, dude, someone in Texas is gonna pull me over because I see my like California expired tags. They're gonna be shit. I'm just gonna be like, bro, you know how it is, man. I had to leave California because all those liberal hippies. I'm just going back to where I'm from in the South, going home to Florida. You know how it is. And I was 100% that dude would let me off, guaranteed.
Just game in the system.
Mm-hmm. So look at me. Just I'm gonna put this in a book for you guys one day. It's just like, yo, the title of the book's gonna be "How to Make $1 Million from a Guy Who's Never Made $1 Million Who Lives with His Parents."
The real Florida man.
You follow these lessons, you too could be at this level.
It's just like never making money.
Just coasting. Oh, Karen Quinn, you remember that, right? He remembers the days of Colorado. Just paying the $20 fucking tag fine.
I mean, that seems. I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, but then I got a business and I had to start paying taxes and
Responsible adult
responsible dumb shit. It's ridiculous.
How many years in North Carolina? I think you lived at my house.
Bro, I don't even think they thought I lived at your house. I think they were just. I tell you, I figured out what it was. So, North Carolina sent me a super sternly worded, aggressive fucking set of documents, Wyatt, that were like.
Oh, you told me this story.
Yeah, they wanted me to pay him like 18 grand.
Send it to him at my address.
They sent it to me at like, yeah, to Rob. And after like calling people, talking to my CPA and everything like that, bro, you know what it is? And they're threatening to like put a lien on my property, send a sheriff to my house, bro. This is like wild, dude. And
which apparently is my house.
Yeah, apparently your house, which would be hilarious. But dude, it's because at some point on my YouTube account, which is different than your Google AdSense account, like they're two different, even though one is required to get paid by the other. It had my old Tattersall address on there from North Carolina. And even though it's all been updated everywhere else, this one page reflected that address still. And they kept saying, you're still making money in North Carolina. And then when I finally got to the bottom of it with this lady on the phone after like multiple phone calls, I was like, do me a favor, how much money did it say it made? She's like a couple $100. I was like, all right, okay. So you're talking about liens, you're talking about sending shares to my house over a couple $100. Like, do you not, with just a degree of like normal human deductive reasoning, could possibly, because you can see my entire IRS statement because you're looking at it, but you can you have identified that like a couple of $100 of it I made in North Carolina and the rest I made in California. She's like, yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like, thank you. Yeah. I was like, oh, can you read me perhaps the name that you have? She's like, Google? You Google something? It's like, oh my God, bitch. Like, so you're saying that I forgot to update my address in fucking YouTube? She's like, yeah, I guess that's what it is. I was like, bro, can you guarantee this will never happen again? She's like, yeah, just fill this out to this, that. And it was 2 tax years, right? And then they send me another letter again in a month. Because she only did one of them. She didn't do the other tax.
Oh,
year.
no.
So I had to call her up again. Everything, bro. I was like, ugh. I was so mad, dude. My CPA was mad at me because I lost my shit. Because like I was like, bro, you could have ruined my life. Right? Like that simple clerical error could have straight up ruined my life.
Yep, people not paying attention.
Over like $274 in AdSense revenue.
Shit's wild.
Yep, you gotta stay on top of stuff because
Kara Quinn, he said only Cali, New York do this shit. No, you're fucking straight up wrong, dude. This is North Carolina I'm talking about. My dealings with California, I just closed my tax account in California today. This is how that shit went down. They sent me a letter. Hey, you owe us the fucking sales tax, city tax. I was like, yeah, but I moved. They're like, okay, fill out this form. Thank you for doing business with us. That was the whole transaction, dude. No one threatened to fucking take me to jail, seize my assets, fucking put a lien on my properties, bar me from federal loans.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. It's getting tough for governments too, man. They want their monies.
He said, no, dude, read it. Motherfucker, you can't read? Oh, that's because you retired and you were stationed there. Yeah, well, you lived there and you made money there. You owe them money, dude. That's how taxes work. I'm starting to think all places suck, bro.
I don't know. Everybody, it doesn't matter whether you're just doing your taxes, and they want their money, or you own a business. I mean, there's all sorts of fees and things. If you're doing Instacart, Grubhub, like they're going to take their 20% and you're going to owe taxes on top of that. Like it's all, you just gotta make sure you got your paperwork in order.
Bro, I've never had my paperwork in order.
Don't pay taxes.
There you go.
Just don't do it.
I was about to say, I want to get on that no pay tax lifestyle. So 2 options: get disabled or become a sovereign citizen.
Or a church.
Actually, in North Carolina, if you're retired, retired from the army or disabled or medically retired, you get a lot of taxes for free.
Yeah, I mean it's like that. It's not always federal. So like disability is a federally mandated. It's not taxable income, and then a lot of states have put into effect that like you don't have to pay property taxes or stuff like that.
Definitely in this county, you don't have to pay property tax either, which is a significant savings.
That's what I keep saying, dude. We need to start a church. Next level enlightenment. sounds benign. You know, get some property. We don't have to pay property tax. We don't have to pay income or property taxes ever.
Can we build our church out of like skeletons?
I mean, legally, probably if
I
you've
mean,
got,
they have
I mean,
churches like
maybe
that
not.
in Italy. Like the Catholic Church has
I
churches
mean,
like
you
that right
probably
now.
have, I don't think that would be the code. Like you have to follow codes when you build stuff. You'd be like, what's holding up this structure? You're like, bones. And they're like, excuse me. Yeah, human bones. That's the foundation of what's
Where
holding up
did you
this.
get them from? Would be
Don't
the
worry about
second question.
that. Yeah. I mean, could you attain them legally? Yeah, but like,
3D
could you
3D printed
build a,
them.
I mean,
Mm.
maybe a titanium or something? Sure. The whole point though is you have to look as unassuming and benign as possible, and you can't do shit that would get the FBI. Like you can't be on that radar.
So we can't
Like
make a compound
and you
where
can make a compound as long as it's like as long as you don't like start doing shit like collecting guns and hoarding gasoline and other things. Like if it's just people homesteading and your page is like, oh, we're just like a commune, and like next level enlightenment is the church of like being cool to each other. You don't do anything that would get you on their radar, then
smoking a
like
ton of weed.
yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta show them what they expect to see. Like, makes sense.
Something to be said for that.
And also, the main thing that pissed me off about this is they almost think about it. They would have sent a sheriff out to Rob's house.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. It would not have been funny for them to put a lien on his house.
No,
You can't. I mean,
That would not
well,
have been cool. If they did it, it would be funny because then you could turn around and be like, hey, you fucking idiots. You put a lien on the wrong person's property and like fucked all my shit up. So now I'm going to sue the county for a lot of money.
generally when liens go on, they do it by name. So if anything is comes up, like for instance, they would do Kenny's name in this county, and it wouldn't be attached to any particular address. So if he
Yeah,
did,
but like these people are all like obviously not doing their job correctly. They were dum-dums.
well, true.
So
What
let's
if-
just say that like through their sheer ignorance and stupidity, they push it through like a lien on this property and it was your house.
That
Then obviously it'd be like, no, you guys are dumb. I'm suing you now.
you know, there's an alternate reality that Rob's gonna skip into where I own his house and there's a lien on it. But also in that reality, we own the golf course. Like that was the settlement.
Oh, okay. Just buy the golf cart. That's what I want. I don't want money. Just give me that.
Yeah, give me that.
give me that
Alright.
thing next door.
All
Give me
right,
all that green.
all right. We talked a lot. Sorry, I went off
Yeah,
on a
we did.
tangent. That was my bad. Hopefully, you guys listen to this on the way to work. Don't stop listening to us in the future because
Taxes are weird.
taxes are weird. All right, Rob.
You know, we got in a fight with a major world power over 5% taxes. 5%. 5%.
5%.
Dude,
Look where we're at now.
bro, like, do you ever watch that? I watched episode 1 of that pilot of that show, the Sleepy Hollow TV show they tried to get off the ground like years and years ago.
Oh, yeah, and he went to Starbucks or
Bro,
whatever.
Ichabod Crane, yeah, he's back and he's like he's like hanging out with this lady, like they're going through shit and they go to Starbucks drive through and he's looking at the receipt. He's like, what is this sales tax of $7.32? He's like, what? We fucking killed people for this. Like he was losing his mind, dude. I was like,
Yep. Look up the Stamp Act.
All right,
Shit
Wyatt,
was
you
wild back in the day.
you want to take us out of here?
I guess I'm the only person to do it. So that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for